Hi CEO, and let's pick down animation. So let's start with this one. I think this one is pretty cool. We got some nice back and forth that we can probably make even stronger. And it's a bit like tag between them. So it would probably make them less equal. So right now it feels like, okay, it's a chart from this side, then it's a chart from the other side. And they're kind of similar to each other. So it probably add a bit of that chaos. So it's a big shape here, then it's a big shape there, then it's a big shape here, then it's a big shape here and here. Then we push the shape here, push the big shape here, push it here, push the big shape here down, and push it the other way around. So it feels a bit predictable because you start this one, you push it, you start the same one in the opposite direction. And they're all kind of facing up, the small charges. The small charges all have this kind of shape and never this kind of shape. So notice that all of the time only the big charges have that. So we can push this aspect and make the amplitudes more different to each other. And that would probably solve most of it, honestly. So we can have that. Some things go up, some things go down, some things go forward, some things can go back. Now, sure, we can do some small stuff, slow stuff. And here I would push the design to have more interesting gaps and more interesting transitions. Maybe pushing the thickness variation here. Pushing maybe the chaotic stuff here to counteract a bit. Maybe like this. And I wouldn't make this a 2. And then for this one, it needs to align with the previous frame, and I would push that not everything goes up, because right now everything kind of goes up. This is fine, but that's not that interesting. As if we're like pushing the directions and giving some stuff a chance to go down. Some stuff doesn't go much. Some stuff can keep going forward. Some stuff goes up. Some stuff goes down, sometimes goes somewhere else. And that would normally be more interesting than just letting it all rise up. And I would completely, since we disconnected it, and since we don't leave any other particles in, I would completely remove that. Maybe add a pause instead. A bigger pause. And completely ignore this part in the string. Only keeps the thing. And I would not do that probably, because then we are doing like the shape here, and then we do kind of repeat the previous shape that we already had there. So we could probably do something like this instead, something more stable. And then do this, do that. And here I would try to figure out, so this is pushing kind of two similar motions in intensities and size and shapes. So maybe it doesn't go that far, maybe it starts going up. And maybe then there is something else here that goes a bit down and a bit up. Then we end it. And then we can leave the particles, whatever. And here I try to avoid the stuff where everything goes fairly linearly and in one direction only. So always try to avoid that because this makes it very stiff. This is pretty good, and honestly the shapes before that worked pretty well too. Here we can add more of a change. Maybe the form changes more. Maybe there are some changes in the other scenes. And instead of keeping that, we can just keep part of it and transition a large portion of it in the opposite direction if we want to. So maybe some part is kept with a different shape, but everything else is transitioned. But then it probably is best to maybe have one or two frames through a flicker or through something else of a follow through of such intense and powerful motion. Can do that, maybe some stuff. Again, everything kind of goes here, so to avoid that I would try to move some stuff in the opposite direction so it doesn't become too predictable. And then here again, to avoid everything going in one direction perfectly, I would maybe play with the shape still. For example, sure it goes like this, but maybe something goes here that's different. Maybe since there is a second charge. And then, for example, through the second charge, I can do some stuff like this without it being too rapid. And offsetting the intensity. So again, we're not doing like the tag back and forth. Also, it still has this back and forth. I would try to like separate it in time so they're not following each other because it becomes a bit predictable. Let's take this. I don't know, put it here. So we want to have unpredictability. We want to have variety, so it's not all clear and simple. Hmm. And then we need something at the bottom, because right now all the cool stuff is going at the top, and no big masses are at the bottom. So it would be good to give it some variation here in this half, because everything is pretty boring there. Maybe something like this. And then we have two things going in this direction right after each other, so maybe we break up this motion so it doesn't actually go all the way there and just ends up changing the direction. And here, of course, we need to track it. Track the volume. Here it stops. So suddenly. Can honestly even skip this stream. So we can experiment with stuff and push it. So it's last tag. And this can be pushed through like having like more calm stuff, more extreme stuff, calm stuff, extreme stuff, and pushing how calm and how extreme we can go. So I can, to match this, I can like do the calm stuff pretty calm, like really subtle charges that are more straight up, and then do extreme stuff more extreme, and then do slow and do fast. For this one, I think it has a cool timing. We can push that so that we separate some of the actions more clearly from each other. I think this is cool, but then everything starts blending together and it's like a barrage of everything at the same time. So it would be cool to add more pauses. So maybe it's a shot, a pause. So it's a shot, and this can be faster. And again, we can vary the intensity so everything doesn't like expand to the side and go outwards at the same intensity. Some stuff can go slow, some stuff can go fast. So we can push that and really push the slow and do the pause. So adding this pause will instantly focus our attention in anticipation for the motion. And then we can really do like big motion. Like, because we had a pause, we are already focused on it. We can actually like do something crazy. Can do big masses instead of like trying to do like the small stuff. We can like do big cool motion, big cool transition. And play it even bigger and create a cool like big silhouette. Here we can start slower and then maybe a couple slower frames. And then really transition pretty fast. So it's hold and push, hold and push, hold and push. And then this will be a place to add a hold again. So we do the fast push, do the fast motion, and then hold again, slow down again. And to push for the composition, we need a strong kind of key element, because right now the stuff it kind of becomes similar. So we want to push the differences between elements. Maybe this being like one-sided isn't the strongest composition. Maybe we can create some kind of structure around it, like more directional charges, or like a swirling charges directing our right eyes towards the sphere. So it's building a bigger composition. And then I would consider pausing, or maybe not. Again, can push them to be more different, push these differences. And then maybe delay stuff so it doesn't all move at the same speed. Maybe not delay that, because that kind of breaks our composition later. But delay some of the charges perhaps here. And then maybe offset them. And like that, we can do this bolder, bigger, bolder. And then do the slower end. So this is fast, and then we can do slow. So what I would do. So this is going way, and this is maybe filled at the start, or like this. Then it goes, and I would make it bolder so it kind of focuses our attention on the element. And first change is faster for these charges, and then it's slow and focused on the central area. Make it interesting in the way how it wraps around the volume. So fast and then slow. And we can decide, we can delay, for example, the sphere, or we can delay the charges. And then, for example, have that, have this maybe hold this longer, or like push them further so they're not in the way of the composition and not distracting too much. Now this scene either needs to come out faster to not block the composition and focus our attention, or be like behind the ball so that it doesn't interfere with like the bigger stuff here. And then we can do like a fast motion. And create some cool composition around. And then the slowdown, of course. And here we can do like a hold. Maybe one part is faster. We can regulate how much of that do we want. And here we can do like 1, 2 bigger charge. And this one is like much smaller. And like here we can really push it like to the camera. And like maybe slightly diagonally. And here it's empty. I can do that. Can do this. So transition faster or do full swipe. Or we can do like a direction change of the shape. But the point is you can take it much bigger when it's close to the camera, like here, and less like smoky, less that, more decisive, bigger shapes. So we can do stuff like this, pushing stuff, making it stronger. Adding poses. Maybe this seems. Maybe it rotates like that. Like one goes here. Should hit from this side. Maybe there is something from this side. Maybe then goes like this. And then it's kind of like that instead. And then there is a slowdown. And this seems. Maybe this is like from this direction, so it's not like as similar, perhaps, and not paired like together. So this one is inherently smaller, this one dissipates, this one is like a big strike. And separating them more different from each other. And you can do like a full white frame here. Then here we can add a cool rotation to that sphere and really push it. So this is a circle. This is our sphere. This is our light flare. And we can rotate it, but that's optional. Kind of break it like that instead of it awkwardly sitting in the center. Or at least not centered. Can be smaller, of course. No, since I want to be bigger. Maybe something like this instead. So it kind of becomes increase in size and then thins out and dissipates through breakup and stretching. But again, these are just ideas. Technically, it's a cool animation. It just needed pause. We can push some directions, some motions, and push the slowdowns for the saddle of the charges. Like at the end, I would try to create a cool composition here, something interesting, something strong to frame the charge and have a cool picture, because this will attract more attention because it lasts longer. So you want to have something pretty here. For the transition, you want something faster. As an example. And then here I would try to make the elements stand out and add delays because everything is kind of at the same time. So all four, and now I've got four elements, each moving, changing, each disappearing at the same timing. So it becomes a bit confusing and a bit messy at this point because there are so many overlapping motions. So it would be a good place to simplify and delete. And that's it. And for this one, I think it's pretty much a similar thing. It's cool. We can add some pauses and we can add more contra because it has some nice rhythm, but maybe not enough to push it as electricity. It still feels a bit like it's constantly like pushing out masses, and maybe we can push that aspect. So not doing like 1 2 1 2 1 2 every frame. Maybe there is like 1 2 3 1, then 1 2 1 1 2 3 4 5 1 2. So we need an interesting rhythm that is not too repetitive. So here we can do a pause. So we can do 1 2. Okay, we don't maybe need that. Pause. Should. Go, go, go. Go, go. Slow down. Okay. Pause. Should. One frame was a pause. We've been shooting all this time. And again, should. Maybe we can make this a more clear slowdown. Maybe it has more mass gathering here and then being shut out instead of still being erased. Maybe then it will work better. So you see, this is a more snappy timing because we don't keep up the barrage of stuff. And then when we slow down, we need to land a cool pose so that's not too overwhelming. So this kind of doesn't track too well because this is going kind of to the side. So maybe we can remove this kind of straight motion because it's going in a straight line. Doesn't change the shape. Maybe we can change the shape a bit. This stuff, might be we don't need that because it closes up the gap that makes the shape interesting and creates a similarity. Don't need that. Can, on the other hand, use some stuff here if we want to. But then again, sparingly. This might be going back too fast. Or we want to push some stuff to be like fast and some stuff slow, because right now everything kind of breaks up at the same time and with the same intensity. So we need to make some stuff slow and some stuff fast. Or faster, if to be more precise. Again, it would be nice to have more general shapes, more variety. And delete. So this still has slow motion, and this leads with a cool, new, powerful shape. And this going back kind of fights with the energy, going there really fast. So just going back really slow would work, but when it's moving fast, it doesn't. So it can go like this and catch up and go there, but not go full on backwards. And here we can create a cool, nice thing, a silhouette. So we're missing a bit of that silhouette here to direct our attention and grab the particles into bigger structures. So I changed the left side and it adds a bit more rhythm to it. So hopefully that helps. Wish you good luck with animations and see you later.